This lecture explains about static methods and how they are different than instance methods. A class can contain two types of methods, that is, instance methods and static methods. Instance methods are the non-static methods which are not declared with the static modifier. But static methods are the methods which are declared with the static modifier. So if you use the static modifier while creating the method, it is called as static method. But if you don't use static modifier, it is called as instance method, which is also called as non-static method. So in the product class, all these methods, that is set methods and get methods of all the fields, are by default instance methods because they are not created with static modifier. But whenever you create any method with the static modifier, that method is called as static method because we have created the method with static modifier. Here, public is an access modifier, static is a modifier of the method, and void is return type. But you should know when to use instance method and when to use static method. Whenever you want to manipulate the instance fields, you should go for the instance method. But whenever you want to manipulate the static field, then you should create a static method. For example, we have a static field called total number of products. I want to create the set method and get method for this field. So set method for total number of products, that is set total number of products. And then receiving a value and assigning the same into the total number of products field, which is the static field of the same class. And in the same way, we are creating another static method, that is get method of total number of products, that will not receive any parameters but returns the current value of the static field. So in this way, we have created the static methods to manipulate the static fields. The instance fields and instance methods are always associated to objects. But the static fields and static methods don't be binded to objects. They are independent of objects or common to all the objects. So in the program.cs file, instead of calling the total number of products field directly, we are calling the set method of the total number of products, and we are getting the existing value of the total number of products and then increment the same. So repeating the same syntax in all the remaining statements. So the default value of the total number of products is 0. So by calling the set products, we will set 1 into the total number of products field. And then by this statement, 1 becomes 2. And by this statement, 2 becomes 3. So overall, we are not accessing the static field directly. We are accessing the same indirectly through the static methods. This is the preferred way of programming as per the abstraction. And while displaying the total number of products at the bottom, we are calling the get total number of products method in order to get the current value of the static field. So overall, we have created the static methods here, and then we are calling the same in the main method. So the instance methods are associated with objects, static methods are associated with a class. The intention of an instance method is always to manipulate the instance fields. But the intention of a static method is to manipulate the static fields. Instance methods are created without the modifier called static. but the static methods are created with the modifier called static. Instance methods are accessible through object only. So you must create object in order to access the instance method. Practically, you will store the object reference in a reference variable, right? So practically, through the reference variable only, instance methods can be called. For example, the instance methods called getProductID, getProductName, etc. are being called based on the reference variable that stores reference of the object. If the reference variable is equal to null, you cannot call the instance method. At that time, you will get null reference exception. Remember, the default value of the reference variable is null. So if you forget to assign an object into the reference variable, for example, the reference variable value is null, at that time you will get null reference exception when you try to call any instance field or instance method through that reference variable. So whenever you get this null reference exception, it means that you are trying to access any instance field or instance method through a reference variable, and the current value of that reference variable is null. But static methods are accessible through the class name always. But while calling a static method inside the same class itself, you need not use the class name. So as a continuation of the differences, instance methods can access both instance fields and static fields. But on the other hand, static methods can access only the static fields but cannot access the instance fields. Alternatively, inside the static method, you can create an object, and through that object you can access the instance fields inside the static methods also. And in the same way, in the instance methods, you can call instance methods or static methods. But in the static methods, you can call only static methods. You cannot directly call the instance methods in the static methods. But alternatively, you can create an object of the class in the static method and access the instance method through that object. I will show this in the next lecture. This keyword is available only inside the static methods because instance methods always will have a current object, and this keyword refers to the current object based on which the method is called. Static methods cannot use this keyword because the static methods will not have any current object. So there is no point of using this keyword in static methods. This is all about static methods in C#. In the next lecture, we will understand how to access the instance fields inside the static methods.